The first things first, I wanted to probably just go down the panel and introduce them, but I'll give you a bit of context. Greenprint is being launched this afternoon. In fact, we're pre-Greenprint launch, right, Sops?
Yes.
So 5:15, as I mentioned earlier on, we'll be back here, and there'll be beer afterwards as well, which has been carefully recycled. And Sopnendu will talk around the passion on that. And one message I'd like to give you is a lot of conviction around trying to ensure that SMEs, which are the rump of our economy, employ people globally who look after our families, that we make sure that they're provided for in this transition that we're going through. That's the whole idea behind Greenprint. We'll discuss it in a moment, but let's start Sopnendu with introductions. We'll go through the panel who we are, and then we can get into the meat of it.
Hi, I'm Sopnendu Mohanty, and the last 3 days, I'm the organizer of this event.
Thank you, Sops. Sunil?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Sunil Vittal, part of HSBC Bank. I manage sustainable finance for commercial banking across Asia Pacific.
Thank you, Sunil. Ramek?
Hi, good day, everybody.
Good. You okay there, Ramki?
Yeah, it works out. Hi, good day, everybody. My name is Ramki Ramkrishnan. I work for a company called Temenos. We're the world's largest banking software solutions company, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Hui Lee?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Hui Lee. I'm the Microsoft leader in Singapore. Really glad to be here in this Greenprint initiative.
Colin?
Hi, I'm Colin Chen. I work for MUFG Bank, and I look after ESG financing for APAC for the bank.
Thanks, Colin. So just to paraphrase, 2 of the 10 largest banks in the world sitting on the stage here, 2 of the most awesome technology firms sitting on the stage here, and the inventor of the FinTech Festival. So we're in good shape. So Sopnendu, I'd like to start off with you. Can you give us the idea and the thesis behind Greenprint, what your vision was? Because really you've guided a lot of this and we've followed. So really it's good to start with you first.
Thank you. And this is my day job as the Chief FinTech Officer of MAS. A year back, or perhaps it is a little 18 months back, I was with a couple of people at my home, and we had this internal big review. And our managing director, Ravi Menon, chairs that review, and he wanted to think about what can we do from a technology perspective to make ESG a little more, think like a public platform, which can allow ESG to scale because it depends a lot on data. And I was not prepared. So that evening, I created a green page, and I named it as Greenprint. And literally with that one page, we went to that meeting. And that was the starting point of the whole Greenprint agenda. And the thesis behind this was that, is it possible for us to create kind of a public-private partnership-based platform which will allow us to discover all the participants in our economy, be it a small business or a corporate, who can then find an elegant way, like any public utility, to disclose their ESG data or sustainability data. And the complexity of what this data means can be taken out from that business, and we can translate that to a set of global standards and then use that set of report for them to access opportunity in terms of financing, in terms of accessing global suppliers and clients who are now trending to the whole sustainability agenda. So that was the very basic theme, but throughout that whole process, we realized some of the ideas we had is impractical. Some needed some fine-tuning. We picked up him on the way. We picked up him on the way. We picked up her on the way, and him on the way. And as we picked up these people, we figured out we can do something together. Today, we have a combination of tech providers, global banking, and regulators in my job to come together and find a comprehensive way to create a platform which will allow everybody, small, medium, large, to be able to disclose the data in the most elegant, frictionless way and find a path to ESG transition journey. Is it a good way to summarize?
That's a good start, Sop.
I didn't clap.
Yes, well. And if you went to stage 1 this morning, that's actually his real voice. He's not doing deep fake at the moment. But anyway, so we start off with disclosure of data, be able to share information. If I just sort of pass over Colin, I know MUFG have had conviction from this on day 1. You've got a large corporate base. You're obviously one of the world's largest banks based in Japan with affiliates. So do you want to talk around how, what this means to you in terms of your customer base, what they've said along the way?
Thanks for that. You know, as I look around, I think I might have gone to the wrong conference because I'm the only one in a suit. However,
thank you.
In terms of our customer base, what we've found, and we've been discussing this at length, is the lack of data, the lack of easy access to data, and the way that data is implemented. So over the course of time, we've been sort of designing and structuring ESG deals for our clients. And every time it comes up, it's what are you going to use, how are you going to measure this data, and how are you going to implement it. Very often, and if you go down the scale, down to the SMEs, it comes to a matter of costs and how you spread these costs and how you come up with a regulated and a standard which everybody is happy with. And all our SME customers that feed into our corporate customers all have that same issue. Initially, the idea was just to talk to SMEs, but as we grew and we decided to talk to the corporate customers, we found they have similar issues. Whereas the original premise was that SME customers wouldn't have the budget to do this kind of collection. But it turns out that cost is an issue to everybody, even on the corporate side, and that makes a difference. I think that's the way that we're looking at it, and we're approaching Greenprint.
Thank you, Colin. So if I summarize, if we look at the large multinationals, for example, that you bank, the supply chains, the buyers, the distributors, they're all pretty much SMEs or mid-markets, right? That's what they are. And that your vision there is to serve the multinationals back into the SMEs and be able to provide transparency for climate purposes.
And don't forget, today's SMEs are tomorrow's multinationals.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which brings me to the mighty hexagon, the mighty HSBC Bank. So Sunil, you've got the world's largest SME bank sitting underneath you, and you absolutely care about fast-growing businesses as well. So what is your conviction on Greenprint? Where do you see the gap in the market for making decisions to help SMEs and privately held businesses do better?
Yeah, no, thank you. Just to plug a little bit on HSBC, so we operate in over 62 countries, and we have close to 1.3 million customers across these countries, and 80-90% of them are SMEs, and Asia being a big part of that 1.3 million customer base. And Asia being the supplier region for the world, so most of the supplies that goes into Europe or to the West is actually from Asia. So we have a challenge in how we actually engage with these SMEs in Asia Pacific, and how do we help them in their transition journey. Because what is happening today is probably Asia is slightly behind Europe in terms of regulations, trying to push the SMEs towards a transition. Or reporting for that matter, but what is also happening, the large buyers based out of these Western countries are actually forcing their suppliers to start disclosing. So we're seeing that more and more happening across our client base, and SMEs are now asking us, "Oh, how can you help us on that journey?" So data. We are working with private companies as well to access these data, but concepts like Greenprint is where we think this is a real sweet spot for us. It brings in some sort of a standardization, because for us to measure the credit risk on the clients, the transition journey on the clients, we want standardized data sources. I mean, currently it's very disparate, so that helps. We use a lot of proxies today for lack of data, and if we use inconsistent proxies, obviously the end results will be very different. It could impact the pricing of the customers. It could impact the credit scoring of the customers. So for us, access to a common platform, and that's the agenda behind Greenprint, is where we're looking to actually roll this out across SMEs in the region.
Thank you, Sunil. If I come on then for technology, we need to be able to have some tech to be able to build Greenprint. And earlier on this year, we went and met a few very large firms. The one we love is Microsoft. The reason being, three reasons being, firstly, they're good people. So are all the big tech firms, actually, but when you work with people that are easy to work with who have conviction as well, I'm sure all of you are like this, you can build a partnership much easier. The second thing is I've been investing in awesome technology. So I'm giving you a really soft entrance here, Wheelie, but tell us about Microsoft and what you're doing and how you're participating and supporting this project.
Right, thank you, Anton. Thank you. We love to work with you too and everyone here. So firstly, I'll share on Microsoft. We are really committed on our sustainability commitments. Since 2012, we have been carbon neutral. As a company, we're very committed to get to carbon negative by 2030. So we are really excited to be part of this journey, that we are able to be part of this because we have been working with our customers, our partners, whether it's private sector and public sector, to get this ESG. We see it as a team sport. And that's where it's great that we have this digital platform that's going to make it accessible. It starts with enterprise and corporate that perhaps have top of mind for ESG. Back to your point, a lot of SME probably doesn't have the resources, the capability, and the know-how. So from Microsoft, we'd like to bring our Cloud for Sustainability platform that we partner with all the partners here, that we can make this available. It's so critical for SMEs that they might want to do some of this ESG report, but perhaps it's cost reasons. For the matter, they don't know where to start. So this provides a platform on the data part that we can help them using the innovations from Microsoft, whether it's data on AI, we can kind of look at Gen AI of how to help them. Many of them want to start the journey, but they don't know where to start. So I think technology is going to provide that level playing field with this platform that's allowed them to come in and embrace it. And then obviously working with the financial institutions, the regulators, that we can make all this available for the SMB and let them embrace it. Because it's going to be an ecosystem play. When you talk about ESG reporting, it's not just the enterprise that's going to report as you get to scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. Ultimately, the SME is part of the whole value chain and the supply chain. So I think this platform is amazing. Microsoft can be the technology provider, as well as we can provide the expertise using different innovations to provide different use case and kind of partnering with all the domains here, how we can really bring this to the SMEs in their whole ESG journey.
Thank you very much. Now, Sopnendu, I know you have a vision for what you'd like Microsoft to do as well. You want to talk about that?
I'm going to put Microsoft on spot. Well, when I meet all of you and your senior leaders, they say that almost half of the world of SMEs do use 365. If that is the case, I think they should get a single button, press it, data should get in, pass it to Greenprint, you get the report, go to the bank, get credit. That's the expectation for Microsoft.
Yeah, I love the vision. We'll partner with you as we kind of look at it. You're absolutely right. I think SMEs are a big install base. Many of them are working with Microsoft. I think as we look at this launch, I think that's exciting, different roadmap and use cases. We can look at how we further automate this, right, and make it easy for SMEs.
I think I think general expectation would be, if when you're using a front-end software, there's no use case. Press the button. Press the button, collect the data, pass it to Greenprint, we'll send it to the banks. And the banks will give loans.
If it's a regulatory requirement, then it might happen, right?
We'll have a moral requirement. Moral requirement. Before you get to regulators, I'm sure he believes strongly on this, right?
What, the moral bit?
One click and everything gets done.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Not sure whether we'll do it on a one button in HSBC, but we will have a few buttons, yes.
And a call center.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Sunil. So if I just again go back and paint a picture on Greenprint. So what is it right now? So it's the ability to be able to share SME data at the point of transaction, accounting system, banking software, supply chain system, utility and infrastructure, doesn't matter what it is. So be able to take that information and access that either through banks or multinationals, provide that free of charge to SMEs. They shouldn't have to pay. They should...
That's good is hard not to pay, because that's everything about life, not to pay anything. So I think I think the cost is keep back, because I don't think there's an intuitive reaction from a SME to pay for disclosure. But that's hard to expect unless there's a strong incentive for them to do that. I think we have to think about the right price point. I don't think zero is good. Zero is equal to the value it means. So we should have some price point, but it should be affordable. Something which is they can. I'm sure you will cover it.
No, definitely. Cost is. I mean, the cost of data today is actually quite high, and the quality of data is also not so great. So the cost is actually increasing when the quality is low. So that is one factor for sure. But I mean, you talked about financing, and if you look at a lot of these SMEs and suppliers who actually who supply to a number of other countries across the world, a lot of them use banks as an intermediary to de-risk that, right? So it goes through the bank through documentary credits or guarantees or anything of that sort. So you're interacting with buyers who don't really know you much. And at that time, having an ESG, and especially in Europe with all the CSRD requirements that's coming through, there is a pressure on the clients to actually now report their ESG data. I think having banks integrated into these sort of platforms would seamlessly create that report and attach it to that transactions so that the buyers have that, along with the bank guarantee, also an ESG rating that's actually supported by the bank themselves. So I think it adds a lot more credibility to such transactions.
Agreed. Thank you.
And it's all possible through technology, isn't it?
Agreed. I think it is. Technology and conviction and the will to get there. Now, I come on to, can I finish on what Greenprint is? Is it okay? Oh, I'm almost there, right? So it may be free or maybe not. Who knows? But anyway, business case, it was free.
Okay.
So SMEs transacting in real economy supply chains, doing whatever they need to do. Banks providing credit or underwriting or other services to those SMEs, including in the future more services around E, S, and G. That's one area. Technology platforms supporting that and providing scale and making that globally consistent. Sopnendu said, and actually Sunil, you said it, SMEs operate cross-border and in cross-border supply chains, so it needs to be global. And then the final element is a regulator sitting here looking at this as a form of supervisory technology to make sure we have a just transition and we can see what the rump of the economy is doing, not the big corporates, SMEs who provide employment, what they're doing. Then it comes to the mighty Temenos here, which is this kind of unknown but massive technology firm that does stuff around the world, where we're looking for scaling and network effect and benefit. So Ramki, why don't you talk?
Can I also add a question to him?
Yeah,
because
sure.
You know how Temenos came to this party? Every time we think about core banking, they come after 10 years when it comes to a structural change in financial services in terms of software. You look at the history of financial services, any regulation which comes, the reaction from the banks is to build a small little software on top of what they have. Is never a part of core banking. This is the first time where a policy change, and we are talking to core banking instantly, so that your next upgrade to Temenos has a core banking module called Green Disclosure.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. I almost, that's for your question. And I hope I get one for the answer.
All the Greenprint teams up.
Exactly, there are a lot of Greenprint teams over here. Thanks for the question. I almost thought you forgot my presence on the stage, but you haven't. Thank you for the question.
That's core banking.
That's core banking. Always comes to the end, but then we deliver. To start with, I must say, Temenos is very privileged to be a core banking software company, the first one to work in collaboration with Greenprint, and we really want to take this relationship ahead and do our contribution to the society along with MAS in this particular region and Southeast Asia. So thank you very much for that. We spoke about various things today. We spoke about challenges in data. We spoke about the need of technology. We spoke about softwares that needs to plug in the complete bandwidth of challenges. And this is where Temenos comes into the picture, right? Being a company that's been investing in core banking for over 30 years, ESG has been in the heart of our core banking system. Very, very similar to what you said. The trend normally has been bringing a third-party company which calls themselves a ESG compliant software, put that somewhere among the 200 plus spaghetti systems, and doesn't do the job, clearly. But Temenos, when you buy the Temenos solutions, I'm not marketing, but I'm talking about facts over here. When you buy Temenos solutions, the ESG part is built as part of the natural hypothesis of the solution. So it empowers banks basically to automatically advocate the cause of the solutions and how banks can play a very, very big role in the ecosystem to ensure that we leave a generation behind and a future generation that's going to be very livable and very advanced. And we want to contribute to that, not just as a banking software company, but as a responsible organization to the whole process. So we offer solutions that basically caters to this. We help clients and banks understand the carbon footprint and how do you minimize that. I also want to say that we have a very strong partnership with Microsoft, who's one of our very strong technology players. And we have proven case studies where when you install and implement Temenos solutions in the Azure cloud, we reduce carbon footprint by over 95%. And we got major clients around the world who's really appreciated this and testified for this. Yeah, so to summarize, we're very happy with the collaboration. We want to continue contributing to the ESG initiative and do our contribute to the society.
Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Absolutely.
Sorry. If somebody buys a Temenos core banking software, by default, the bank can report all the disclosure by talking to Greenprint?
So that's one of the use cases that you've given, and we're going to deliver this in the next couple of months' time. There's great work doing, and hopefully very soon we'll be able to do a joint demonstration on this. And
so any small bank, big bank out there buying a core banking, existing Temenos is free, I guess, upgrades, but I don't know. But the idea is to provide a native module to the banking.
100%.
Thank you.
That's the roadmap that we
One point I'd just like to make is that all this mod cons that you have, all the apps that you add on, only work if the data you get is verified. And I think this is one of the points about Greenprint. You have verified data. And that gives you confidence that the stuff you get out is going to be the stuff that you can use.
Absolutely, yeah. I was listening before to the conversation. We, KPMG, make a lot of money off auditing net zero commitments right now. And so obviously we're going to cannibalize our own revenue with this because the data will be reliable, it'll be straight, it'll be able to be used by customers or people within banks. And that is the vision, I think, going forward. Just by the way, I can see Thought Machine over there as well. There are other core banking providers out here somewhere. Can I
give a call out to Thought Machine? The next core banking.
He's coming your way, Travis. So can I come on to complexity? Because you hit on a really interesting point, and I think the panel before us talked about it. In fact, every ESG panel talked about it. Frameworks, standards, complexity of data, patchwork quilt, competing FinTech, all that sort of stuff. Is it Microsoft, is it Google, whatever it might be. So I'd like to talk around how Greenprint is going to be open and interoperable. I'll start with you, Sopnendu, to be able to actually draw people in, build a proper ecosystem rather than a competitor?
I think the underlying question here is that, is Greenprint stuck to Singapore? Answer is no. Greenprint is going to be a global platform. It will operate in multiple markets. It will be at least by design, it is interoperable. And with our partnership with the front-end companies like Microsoft, we truly it is seamless interoperability, because it doesn't matter where Microsoft sells it 365. You are selling it to Indonesia or Philippines or wherever it is. As long as the backend is connected to Greenprint.ai, we can rationalize this data set and we can then make it work. And that's my hope. Whether Microsoft delivers it, next year Singapore FinTech Festival is an opportunity to talk about it.
So, Hui Lee, we're not putting you on the spot, but can we talk then around ISVs? Again, lots of FinTech in the room here. And I'm sure lots of other providers. We heard from Kogo yesterday, another Kiwi, right? So what is your perspective on how you're going to draw on an ecosystem, maybe from Temenos as well, so that we build more services more quickly and we kind of get that network effect?
Yeah, I think that's a good call, right? Beside the platform where Microsoft play, obviously also the SMB, beyond Singapore, we have a lot of presence. Globally, we have the SMB and all the ecosystem. I think a good call out is not just on the technology front. We do have our ISV kind of ecosystem, the marketplace that we can present and bring in other kind of ISV with different sustainability solutions that can enrich the whole platform beyond just on the reporting side. So I think that's kind of the partnership. We have to go beyond the technology and even scaling, right? I think that's an area that we want to help SMB. So I think as we look at this partnership, technology is one that Microsoft brings on the table, but the whole ecosystem, the marketplace that we have globally with different sustainability solutions, I think that's where we can bring the art of possible into this platform.
Thank you. And Ramki, Temenos must do the same. You must build partner networks and be able to draw on other services. I know HSBC's got a ventures group, probably MUFG does as well. How does it work for you? And what can you bring that's beyond the Temenos?
We strongly believe that anything on ESG has to be a large ecosystem. It's not a one-man show typically, and that's again proven with a collaboration with Greenprint. We bring in a lot of partners as part of the ecosystem who comes with diverse type of solutions. We collaborate with them, and then we typically do whatever is required to bring down the overall carbon footprint.
I just want to, while I was pulling Microsoft openly, but I think there's some reality check we got to understand. There's constraints in the world. This is a data which can fall under soft data residency rules of different country. So while we may aspire to be open and everybody can pump in data, we got to respect every country's local data residency rules. There will be constraints, there will be issues and challenges as we pull data, and I don't think the journey is going to be so easy. We will face challenges, we will have issues by country, but at the end of the day, if there's something good to come out, we'll figure out a way. But there should be a minimal data construct, at least market could be able to establish through a front-end system. So I don't want the audience to go away saying that, come next year, Singapore FinTech Festival. No, it's not going to happen that way. It will be a journey, we'll have to all work together.
So there will be more buttons, you're saying?
More button to start with, eventually 3 buttons or 1 button.
No, I think for us, we have gone. We operate in 62 countries, like I said earlier, and we do have the data visas for how we operate as a global bank. So for us, getting a unified data source through platforms like these would actually help us manage clients across. Because one of the you need to. I'm just flipping how Greenprint can help banks, especially for us, for example. We have committed ourselves to be a net zero bank by 2050. And when we say net zero as a bank, for us it's all scope 3. For us there's no direct emissions, it's pure branches and cars, but that's about it. So for us, our emission comes from our balance sheet, and we call that as financed emissions. And it's all about where our clients are using the lending that we have provided and what emission that comes out of that. So the only way we can measure that is to have a high quality data coming in terms of how we can actually manage the financed emissions on our side. So it's important for us on our strategy as well. And the second one is with greenwashing risks that's emerging very widely. We want to have those quality data as well. So I think that is the other side of Greenprint that we should look at is the SMEs and clients, but it's also the financial institutions that's going to benefit from that.
Well, I'll pick up on that, actually leading me back to Colin now on MUFG, because I know banks look at the same issues and challenges. Credit risk management and incorporating climate data signals into the way that you lend. Obviously, this is not an easy thing. So tell us how you're working on that right now, and how would data from an SME data platform like Greenprint help?
Yeah, so exactly as you say, the more data you have, the better your output is going to be. And we've as a bank, taken on the concept that there are ESG influences in your overall data, in your overall credit profile for every single entity that we either give credit to or operate. Within Asia, we have 4 partner banks which we own substantial stakes in, and we operate them as large subsidiaries. And we are also concerned about their own footprints, similar to the way HSBC looks at it. The quality of data and the way that we input influences these types of things. So every single credit that we look at has a component in it which we endeavor, we strive to provide sort of credit metrics to it. But we are unable to do it consistently because we don't have consistent data from country to country or from just even within the country. One SME reports things differently from another SME. Then you have to pick it through. So that comes to the point of scalability. If you just resolve one thing for one item each time, it's going to be impossible to do it across the board. So for us, that's highly important. The data coming out and the data we're putting in, that allows us to scale and allows us to make a better decision on each credit that we look at.
Can I just stick with you, Colin, and ask another question? So yesterday was Helge Munkel from DBS.
Yes.
Yeah, you know him. He talked around carrot and stick. So one angle for SMEs to disclose or participate is compliance through large supply chains and European regulations and all that. But the other is the carrot side. How do we incentivize and help organizations do the right thing when they're really busy trying to run a small business? What's your view on incentivization and what you think might be appealing for these businesses going forward?
If you look at the existing financial system that we have right now, they already have that in place. So through sustainably linked loans or through green loans, there are already triggers in that allow either SMEs or corporates to get a better pricing. That's where the carrot comes in. And recently we've been seeing the stick portion of it in the sense that if they don't make those those KPIs, there's a consequence to that. How do you measure this? And that's where the data comes in again. If I have a company that has, that has the carrot, 2 basis points for reaching this particular target, I want to make that consistent across the board. And without a data platform that I can trust, I will not be able to do this. So Greenprint will allow me to put forward this thing on a consistent basis, and hence I can grow the environment and the kind of financing that we need to drive the whole procedure going forward.
Thank you. Thanks, Colin. And Hui Li, if I just come to you then, the Greenprint platform will sit in the mighty Azure cloud. It will use your latest generative AI capabilities through the stack. So if we then talk around complex things like credit risk management or other types of services, how do you see the industry evolving on both quantitative and qualitative data, so large language models versus traditional AI? What is that going to look like in your opinion?
So I think with the Greenprint, the vision we see is like this become like a platform that looks like ESG. We call it Copilot, right? And part of what Microsoft provide is we want to build in some of the solutions. It won't be a one click like you mentioned, but it simplifies it. That it's easy for the SMB that you build in some of the solutions, that it's going to be seamless, it's easy to use. So I think that's the part when you talk about the qualitative, like if I take case in point Gen AI, right? They might not even understand like what's the standards. If you have a GPT 4.0 kind of platform, how do they kind of query it? How do they kind of organize the data? I think this is just an example of how you can simplify it for the SMB. Kind of balancing the data part, you need to be quantitative, plus perhaps on the Gen AI, you can kind of generate some of this content by querying it, prompting it, that can complement. They might not have the SME's expertise to be knowing all the regulators, so I think these solutions allow a blend of both for them to manage this for the SMEs, yeah?
Thank you. Temenos, I don't know what your rules and regulations are around looking at data on a core banking platform, but obviously you have a lot of flow that goes across those platforms globally. So again, what are you thinking about when it comes to the use of data? And this is probably more from a risk and reg perspective that can be applicable for climate change and ESG.
Okay. My answer to this would be twofold. I mean, we all agree on one point here. For us to take ESG to the next level at whatsoever, proper, accurate data is mandatory, right? And it's about the level of investment and the commitment that different organizations put together to ensure that that data keeps getting better and better. Now, the second part of the question is, how do we get the data over there, and what are the responsibilities of organizations like Temenos? And I think we are here to basically integrate the data that we observe from different parties and ecosystems, and then consolidate them and probably give you the single touch report which he was asking about. Yeah, and that's probably where all banking software companies should come together and generate this information and make life easy for organizations.
Thank you, thank you. So if I just paraphrase a little bit on the product, and please correct me if I get it wrong, Sopnendu. I have been working on it for 10 months though, so hopefully I got it right. We actually have 6 clicks. 6 clicks for Greenprint, for an SME to be able to participate. Straight through, our design principle is they shouldn't have to type or write anything. If they do that, we've failed. The second design principle is they don't need to understand ESG or any of the frameworks or any of that sort of stuff. Just select, give the data, trusted source like an HSBC, and then we'll take care of the rest. So that's a good thing. And if people have not seen the working technology, it's over on the Greenprint stand there. So that's one thing. The second thing is we have a bunch of collaborators, I think you're calling them Sopnendu. So we're building an ecosystem. The 3 products that are being developed on Greenprint, one is disclosure, as we've been discussing, and that can be disclosure for SME or disclosure at a bank level as well, where you aggregate up as a chief sustainability officer. The second then is on the data registry, like data as a service, a headless API connection. And then the third one that links back to that is a marketplace, where anybody can build products on top of the platform. Obviously, there's an exchange of data and money and all that sort of good stuff, but you can build things. And so Greenprint can then provide scale and a platform for other providers to make their own products with trusted and verified data globally, albeit, as Sopnendu said, we won't. It's going to take a wee bit of time to get there, but we'll get there. So that is a proposition. Do you want to summarize?
No, I think you have summarized well, but I want to conclude today by thanking all of you. 3 years back, or 4 years back, for almost 3 years, I ran this sustainable segment agenda. Only 10 people used to sit. Empty hall, 10 people. Look at today. I think we should all give a big clap to each other. That is which has changed today. So banks, technology company, here is your crowd. Help them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think he summarised it well. Anyone in the black shirts over there, they made it. So please go and see them at some point. 5:15 back here. And if you want to know more, there's a whole team over there who can give you all the details and talk about the metadata.
5:30, be there.
Thank you to our panellists. Thank you very, very much.